You're listening to the Hella Well with Danielle show, a podcast taking women of color on a journey exploring all things wellness and travel related. We're all about showing you how to put on your oxygen mask first and creating lasting self-care habits that will free you to travel the world and live the life you truly desire, and not one you have to fake loving. I'm your host, Danielle Washington. Now let's buckle up and start this journey. Hello, well, how are you living? Hopefully better than me. About a month ago, I started having COVID symptoms, and I was like, no, this can't be me. I have worked so hard. This is my first time getting COVID. And I wanted to talk today about the life lessons that I have learned. And it's not just like, oh, you shouldn't, wear a mask always and all these different random things. No. There were some hardcore reflections that COVID forced me to experience and reflect on that I wanted to share because I feel like I'm not alone in this situation, And let's first start off with the fact that pre-getting COVID life, I was pretty good. I always wear my mask. I live in Northern California, so we always wear a mask everywhere. I'm still wearing it to the grocery store. I wear it all the time. I, still wipe down my groceries. I have my sanitizer on pocket at all times. And so I'm just a little bit more cautious. I think that we just have been always more cautious in the Bay Area. That being said, and I also have my parents who I take care of. And so I didn't want to ever get them sick, so I just haven't been going anywhere. So when people are like, oh, do you want to go to this concert that has Dave Chappelle, Erykah Badu, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and all these other people that I love, like Alex Isley, do you want to go? And I'm like, I want to go, but nah, we're not going. I've been kind of by myself. I've been in the house, and I've been that person who has just stayed away from crowds because I didn't want to get COVID. And then I went to New York. Oh my God, I went to New York living my best life in my head. Hindsight, not my best life, but I love New York. When I'm in New York, it just feels so good. I love being in Brooklyn. I love seeing so many beautiful melanated people, just people of all types, the food, the weather, the shopping. I just love New York. And I was there during Juneteenth. Oh my God. For me, that was like Mecca. It was Juneteenth in New York, hanging out, and I got invited by a friend to this event. And my first instinct was like, girl, that's not a smart move. But I was like, I'm going to go. I'm in New York. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be at a picnic. And in my head, I was hoping that people would be spread out. I'm like, there's still a pandemic going on. But they weren't. When we got there, there were people you couldn't even walk. It was so packed. It was you had to walk very cautiously, not to step on anyone. And it was a sea of beautiful, melanated Black people dressed in some of the best clothes and just having a great time. But what I noticed that was missing were masks. No one was wearing a mask. I was the only one wearing a mask. So I'll make one or two people here and there wearing a mask. But for the most part, no one was wearing a mask. And that felt uncomfortable. That gave me an anxiety for many different reasons. It made me feel ashamed that I was wearing a mask. And it also made me feel anxious with the fact that no one else seemed worried enough to be wearing a mask. And I'm like, what is this? There still is a pandemic. And it's Juneteenth. It is a day of liberation and celebrating being liberated. And on that day, I felt so chained to feeling that I needed to fit in, that I needed to take the mask off so I could fit in and look like a Black New Yorker or a New Yorker or someone who just, we're okay. We're living our best life right now. And honestly, that's not where I was. I wasn't fitting in because I wasn't one of those people living carefree, living their best lives as if COVID didn't exist. Because in my head, in my heart, in my gut, I knew COVID exists. I read the news, it exists. But to fit in, I felt like I had to take off my mask. And it literally felt like it was catapulting me back into my childhood where I had to fit in. Let me rephrase that. My childhood where I didn't fit in. I wasn't black enough for the black students. And once I got to like a school, where I grew up from elementary to high school, right before high school. I was at the same place, but I went to the school in the same city from elementary and middle school. And like, it was a mix of hodgepodge, we had all different types of people. I didn't feel like I had to be a certain way. I kind of felt a little bit of that, but not much, not until I got into high school, where it's like, I remember my first week in high school, someone saying, well, why are you hanging out with those people? You're supposed to hang out with only black people. I'm like, oh, I didn't get the message, but now duly noted. Now I know this was hanging out with black people. But when I did do that and hung out with only black people versus my mixed group of friends that I had in high school, in middle school, which there were black people, there were Arabic people, there were white people, there were Asian people. We had all different types. We had Latinos. Like, we had all the mix of the pod, and I loved that. But when I felt like I had to, by force, to fit in, to hang out with only black people, I realized that there were times when I didn't feel black enough in those audiences. But if I flash forward to earlier, being in middle school and elementary and in high school or college, it's like I had, went to a predominantly white college, and most of the people growing up in elementary and middle school were white as well. I wasn't quote unquote white enough. I didn't fit in with them. So honestly felt so much. If you've ever read Issa Rae's book, The Awkward Black Girl, like, I relate to that book so much, because that has been my life of just not fitting in, like, I'm wanting to fit in. And that desperate need to, like, let me change my clothes, let me change how I look, let me change my hair, like, let me know the latest dance moves. But whatever I did, I just didn't feel like I fit in. Whether other people had no clue that I was having these moments of feeling insecure about fitting in or not, that's the way I felt in this Juneteenth event. I was like, I'm back in my childhood of not fitting in. And it felt so chained to feeling like the mask that I talked about in my last episode, wanting to remove. Like, I'm tired of hiding. Me hiding is acting like I'm okay without a mask. I'm not okay without a mask. I'm not okay at large events. And it sucked. Like, I wish I got COVID. I'm pretty positive I got COVID at that event, because that's, 2 days later, I started feeling symptoms, or that evening on the 21st. And so when I think about it, it was like, if I was going to get COVID, if I knew, oh, you're going to get COVID at this day, at this time, I would have showed up differently. I'm at this beautiful event, I'm at this beautiful event. There's lots of beautiful people. I love the vibe per se, but I'm anxious as AF. Like, I just can't get comfortable because I don't have my mask on. By this time, I've taken off my mask, and people are right in my face talking, and people running past me, not running, people walking over me, coughing and talking and laughing, and every laugh, every cough, every move, every breath that I saw someone take gave me literal anxiety of, oh my God, I couldn't be comfortable. Even when went to a smaller event, and still everyone, again, wasn't wearing a mask, and again, I felt like I had to not wear my mask, I felt uncomfortable. So I got COVID not even being happy or enjoying myself, because I was so not fitting in and felt so uncomfortable. So if I knew I was going to get COVID, then I probably would have showed up differently. Instead, I felt the most chained up. Well, not the most, but like one of the times where I'm just like, it just felt uncomfortable. It felt unhappy. And hindsight, it was one of the worst mistakes I could have ever made in my life, because getting COVID for me was not a good look. I have high blood pressure, and my high blood pressure averages like around 140 something. Oh, that's not a lie. No, that's true. Around 140 something is like, that's not the average. The low is about 140 something over like 100. So my blood pressure is just generally high, even when I'm on medication, which I don't like to take. And I wasn't taking it this time either, because I just don't like taking blood pressure medication. I've been able to get my blood pressure down with, diet, exercise, and just the way that I live. I didn't have any weight to lose. But for the most part, I have high blood pressure, and it's not based off of anything I do. It's just hereditary. Welcome to being a Black woman in America. Though that being said, having high blood pressure, I didn't realize, and you're at larger risk of getting long COVID. And this is part of the reason why I was so averse to going outside. I remember when COVID first came on the scene. When it first came on the scene, it was trending. And Chris Coma, shout out to him, I miss his show. Chris Coma was having like these conversations about long haulers. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are having heart issues, breathing issues. Like, I became obsessed with CNN during the beginning stages of COVID, and learning all this stuff. I was like, there's no effing way I want to become a long hauler. Welcome to Guess Who Just Got Her membership to the long COVID. That's me, and I'm not happy about it. Getting COVID, the first 2 days, it literally felt like someone had nailed like these huge metal nails into my hip flexors, or the other way I could describe it is it felt like I had the worst menstrual cramps ever in my hip flexors, and it wouldn't go away. Like, there was nothing I could do. It just sucked like balls. That went away, and I'm like, okay, worst nasal congestion I've ever experienced in my entire life. It didn't matter what I took, what I did, no matter how long the showers were. It never worked for me. Like, I never could get it to go away. 2 or 3 days in, I'm now having breathing issues. And so how would I say this? I started having breathing issues, and it exacerbated this lung issue that I kind of forgot that I have because I hadn't had it forever. So whenever I get sick, I end up getting like bronchitis. And so I've gone to the emergency room over the situation, and it didn't dawn on me till I got COVID. And this is where I'm having issues. I can't breathe. I can't even hold conversations with people. Like, I'm literally trying to talk to people and I'm losing my breath. And that's been going on after, I tested negative, and it took me the full 14 days to test negative, and I stayed in the house, and I was pissed. Like, I don't know about other people, but I was pissed. I was pissed at myself for like, why did you go to New York, and why did you get COVID? Like, if I was in California, I never would have gone to that event whatsoever. There wouldn't even have been an option. But when I was in New York, I was living differently, acting differently, and feeling like I needed to fit in. I guess I feel like in California, I fit in a little bit more, even though some people aren't wearing the mask. I look at them like, girl, I don't care. I'm going to wear my mask. But in New York, it felt like I had to. Like, there was this desperate need, and it was that same desperate need when I was younger to try to fit in. I was like me. Let me blend. Let me blend. Let me be one of you. When I really wasn't one of anyone. And now I'm suffering for this situation. So there were lessons learned from having COVID. One of the lessons I learned is that I'm not invincible. No matter how divinely protected I am, no matter what spray, what, crystal I'm wearing, what meditation I've done, ain't nothing to say that I am, excused from getting this deadly virus. And so that was something I had to kind of come to terms with. I'm like, okay, I got COVID, and, it doesn't matter how quote unquote protected I think I am, I still have the ability to COVID. The other lesson I learned is that my body is a precious temple. That, like any other temple, it could burn down at any moment if it's not taken care of, if it's neglected in any way, or it was put in the wrong hands. And I put my body, my temple, in the hands of a girl who was not thinking straight, i.e. myself, the girl who wanted to fit in the world, wanted to be, I'm a New Yorker, look at me, I could totally blend in, this could be my life. Let's throw away the mask and let's live like COVID doesn't exist. I put my temple in her hands, in the hands of that inner child who felt the need that she needed to fit in. She desperately needed to be one one of them. And yeah, got COVID that way. Which kind of still sucks. But I also had to recognize that this didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And it took me, a day or two or three to get past that. Because, people were like, it's inevitable you get it. I'm like, no, it wasn't. This was preventable. But also the fact that it was preventable also reminds me that this didn't happen to me like, oh my God, like the world is ending. Because I found myself in this victim mode. And that's the thing that I didn't like about getting COVID. It's like, oh my God, I'm a victim. I now have COVID. Life is this way. And I'm having all these issues. Victim, victim, victim. Woe is me. I need people to feel sorry for me because I have COVID. And that's the old Danielle. That's the old Danielle, another, age, inner child situation that I've reparented that just showed up once again, who felt that that's how people would appreciate her. That's how she would get, people loving on her, is to be a victim. And I've spent so many years being that victim. And I've been so many years working on not being that victim to see myself quickly flip back into victim mode. That sucked. That it was like watching yourself, out of body experience of watching myself being in victim mode and feeling like, I don't know how not to be in victim mode. I'm a victim. Look, I'm a COVID victim. Woe is me. I have COVID and this could end my life. I am sick. I can't go outside. And that was really hard to kind of deal with and grapple with. But the other part of it, the flip side of it was, why is it that I had to have COVID to feel that I finally got the hall pass from my parents and the principals to be able to rest and not do anything? I feel like as a Black woman, oftentimes, even if you're sick, people are like, oh, well, you're a strong Black woman. You should still be able to work through a migraine or sick or, strep throat or even a random surgery. But with COVID, when you told people, oh, no, I have COVID, people are like, oh, okay, I'm giving you a pass. And so not only were other people giving a pass, and I felt more comfortable being like, I have COVID, I can't do anything, and not feeling the guilt and the weight of, I should be able to push through things. It also helped me get to a point to where I gave myself permission to rest. And not to the point to where I was doing it freely, because I'm going to be keeping it real. I struggled to rest, but I didn't have a choice. Like my body literally was like, you can't do anything. You are just done. You can't mentally think. Your head hurts. Your body aches. Like you can't do anything, sis. And so we're going to just make you rest. And so there were times when I felt like I didn't feel guilty about it. And that was the permission that I don't recall giving myself before. Like even when I had 2 surgeries, one of them which had me in the hospital for about a week. The other one caused so many other problems after the surgery. But even then, I didn't allow, and that's when they had to literally reteach me how to walk after one of my surgeries. And so even in that point, I didn't give myself permission to stop working. I didn't give myself permission to stop moving forward on the things I was doing. This is the only time I felt that I kind of gave myself a small pass to rest. And that's crazy that I had to get some deadly virus to finally feel that I can feel okay to rest without guilt. And I think that, again, I don't think I'm alone in this situation. I think as women, I think men probably go through it too, but I think especially women go through the situation where we just feel like there isn't a permission slip for us to rest. And especially if you're a mother or a caregiver or someone who's basically responsible for another human being, you don't feel like you have that hall pass to be able to rest. And I often feel like I don't have that hall pass, and I had it. And it felt good, but it felt bad. I had mixed feelings about the whole situation because let's keep it real. I'm addicted to being busy, and that's a whole other podcast in its own right. But I don't know how to rest. Someone told me to write a love letter to rest, and I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. And I actually am going to do it. But it was like, oh my God, when I think of rest, I think of paradise. It's just this paradise place. It's heaven. And it is heaven. It's this, you got to do all the work to get to that point. You have to be good. You have to be selfless, and not saying that's the things you need to do to get rest, but it's that heavenly feel. Like you have to hit all these benchmarks to get to rest. And I have never felt that I have been, oh, wow, that I've been worthy of rest, like will rest. Like I haven't done the work. Wow. Okay. That's a real feeling that I just came up with. I don't feel like I've done the work to be worthy of rest. And that realization that I just got sucks even more than COVID, because that's something I've been dealing with for my entire life. But that being said, I'm working through COVID, and I am excited that I can go outside now. And I, went to get food. Of course, the first place I went to after, being cleared for not having COVID was, I'm going to get some food. I need this croissant that I wanted that I couldn't get on any delivery services, and I want barbecue, which low key, it really sucks that there's no barbecue places in the Bay Area. So I had to drive like about 20 to 30 minutes to get to a barbecue location. So that really sucked as well. But I have been pushing myself. And one of the other lessons I am learning through this COVID situation is that I need to accept that I'm still healing. I need to accept that though the test says I'm negative, I still have symptoms that show up and pop up at any moment. Moments where I feel that nasty taste in my mouth, like as if you've taken medication on an empty stomach. I'll get dizzy. My head will start hurting. I can't breathe. I feel fatigued. I will just have moments where I just can't physically do anything, or even worse, having moments where I'm trying to talk about something and I just can't put the words together. And for me, that makes me feel stupid. That makes me feel like, oh my God, people are thinking I'm just this dumb black girl who didn't go to school and all these different things. And I'm shoulding all over stuff. Like I should be able to speak properly. I should be able to present myself a certain way. And when I'm not able to, I'm internalizing these stereotypes that I don't even know if people would even think about me. And again, these are the lessons I've been learning through having COVID. But the other lesson I've been learning is that I need to grieve my pre-COVID health. And I haven't allowed myself to go through the grieving process. I don't know how long this long COVID situation is going to last. I've been working on some new things, and so I'm going to see if this works. So if it works, I definitely will come back and give you guys more information about what I'm doing to kind of help myself in the meantime. But for right now, I need to grieve my health. RIP pre-COVID health. I haven't allowed myself to go through the phases of grief, of anger, acceptance, and all these different things, because I've been so in it that I didn't realize that I am still angry about the fact that I can't just do the way things I used to do. Like even I wanted to go on a trip this week. My whole goal this week was to go out of the country. And I was going to go to Grenada, and I couldn't even get myself to literally look online to look at prices. Like I've had so much anxiety about traveling and being other places that I couldn't even do that. And for anyone who knows me, or if you don't know me, travel is my thing. Like I am a person who will travel at the drop of a dime and go anywhere in the world. I remember going with less than 7 hours. I was like, I'm going to Thailand. And so for me not to feel comfortable to even go on a website to look at prices for a flight, that signaled to me that I'm having some PTSD moments. Like even talking to my therapist, I'm literally having anxiety about going outside, talking to people, being around my parents, going to the grocery store, going anywhere outside of my house, or just the ideal of COVID never going away, these symptoms never going away. And so on top of needing to accept that I'm still healing and this is a process and I need to give my body the tempo that I have, the time and space it needs to heal, I also need to grieve what used to be. And that's the process that I'm in right now. I'm working through it. I'm working through it all. And if you get COVID, please take care of yourself. And if you can avoid it, please do. COVID is real. This new variant that doesn't care. I mean, the part of it was like, oh, great, now you can travel because you've COVID. Great, right when I got COVID, you got this new variant that's like, psych. Just because you had COVID a second ago doesn't mean we're not going to give it to you again. So I didn't get the hall pass to go, live freely because I now had COVID. So it's just a different ballgame. And I say this to say that COVID is real. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. I don't understand why people think that we're not. That's not true. I get people want to go back to normal, but reality, this is the new norm. There is no normal. It's just like when we had the situation of 9/11, and I don't know if anyone even remembers what travel was like before 9/11. I don't recall there being TSA and all these other things and taking off your shoes. But that's the new norm for us. And there's going to be a new norm for COVID. We're not going back. We're not going back. I'm like, if I have to be like Santa Claus doesn't exist for everyone, we're not going back. And that's something I've had to deal with as well. So I'm going to rest, and I'm wishing you guys a beautiful weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Ciao.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Hello Well with Danielle show. Make sure to visit our website, hellowellwithdanielle.com, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Also, you can follow us on social media at Hello Well with Danielle on Facebook and Instagram, and Hello Well Danny on Twitter. And if you like hella love the show and got some good nuggets out of it, know that I'm not too proud to ask for you to please leave a rating or review on iTunes so that we can continue to expand our reach and help other women of color. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao.